Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming and welcome to Season 7 of Diablo 4. With the new season comes those new seasonal mechanics, the powers and systems to unlock them. Knowing what everything is and what the best initial methods are certainly is important, so here's a video on that. Let's begin. First up, let's talk about the Headhunts, which you'll find all over the map and will understand at this point as like a mini Helltide in a sub sort of zone. Each one of them's on a different timer, but there's always one or multiple going, so this one ends in 15 minutes. Meanwhile, this one over here lasts 25 minutes. Not all are made equal, and that's important to think about. Some of them are going to be in wider zones, where you may have to run around a bit more to actually reach the objectives, whereas some of them are going to be in more dense, tighter zones, and these are the ones that you should actually care about. That is because the objectives are going to overlap each other, and that's what you want. Here then you find the new head-rotten monsters and those new whispers to complete. What we're doing over and over then is completing these whispers to slightly progress the main story, to go back to a sub-zone of a head hunt and complete more grim favors and more whispers. You'll find that as you're completing these whispers, a cocoon will spawn, and that might be like opening a chest and getting loot, or it might spawn one of the special head-rotten bosses. These are important because you do want to find the missing heads, but when you're thinking about leveling and maximizing the system right now, you don't want to be killing these. You want to be progressing the main story and getting to the end of that and unlocking all of the seasonal power. These bosses take a little while to kill, and while they certainly have some nice drops, you can get significantly better drops for your time by just doing a roothold instead. So I really don't recommend killing these bosses beyond, say, when there's a 5 Grim Favor Whisper for killing it. Or if it's like one that definitely has a head and you want to bring that back. Be aware that if other people have found a boss and you don't want to waste the time trying to get one to spawn, then it will be pinged on the map, like say Helltide's maiden boss, and you can just go over there and help other players kill that boss, and that can be faster. Now a big part of all of this is generating your rot resource so we can unlock our powers and of course upgrade them. You want to skyrocket through this as quick as you can to reach Doomorb, which has incredibly good flat damage. For that obviously you need 100 of these rot resources, but yeah, flat damage is just so potent. And so on that note, I'd recommend Doomorb as your first pick, and I'd strongly recommend you consider things like the Firebat Servants for just the raw output they have. The Aura of Siphoning, it's an aura of damage per second in terms of poison, but initially this is ridiculously potent. But yeah, flat damage early, these are pretty damn insane. To generate rot, it's pretty much just doing the headhunts, completing the missions and so on, but you will get them in the Rootholds as we'll talk about. Do be aware that while you're out in a headhunt, there is the Raven of the Tree there. It shows up on your map when you're in the zone, and this is a place to hand in your whispers while staying in the headhunt. Instead of having to like load away, go back to the tree, whispers, come back. It's a really convenient tool that you don't want to forget about because it's new. Also, do note that there's a new ancestral cache you can get by completing these whispers and getting the caches from those. Those have guaranteed ancestral items in them, so very much the choice to take if you ever offered it. Also, while you're out in the headhunt zones, you're going to notice way more silent chests than normal. They upped the spawn rate specifically in the headhunt subzones and made them more worth opening for the drops, and also because they dropped the new Whispering Wood sigils, which is what you need for the Rootholds, which are ridiculously valuable. Therefore, as always, you generate Murmuring Obols by just doing events, and then in pretty much every town you've got Purveyor of Curiosity NPCs, and at the bottom of their list you've got Whispering Keys, which cost 10 Obols per. I would recommend you have at least a few of these on you at all times this season, so that you're able to open those chests whenever you need, and start building up a stock of these Roothold sigils. But here's my fast advice for the headhunts in general. Not all whispers are made the same, and the value is very different. For example, one of the slower ones that I don't like to do is patrol. It's kind of awkward. You have to follow around this NPC in a tight circle. She'll even walk away from the enemies you're currently killing, and then that won't track for it. However, she will path over other whispers, over other mini-bosses and objectives, and if you can do them at the same time, that is worth it. And that's the most important thing, batching stuff together. Anything that causes you to be clearing a Grim Favor on its own is no longer worth doing. You should just go to a different zone. The other one that I don't recommend you do unless you know you can really batch it together with other stuff is the Wisp one. This is a slow circle around the area until eventually it spawns the enemies you want to kill. I'm hoping that they change Wisps and specifically Patrol because they're simply too damn slow compared to everything else, which is way faster. Like I said though, one of the first things you do when you go in the zone is make sure you do Fugitive to kill one of the special headless bosses. My favorites to do are things like Slay, since it's a huge area and it's just specific Thralls of Rot special elites, and you might encounter those while you're doing something else at the same time, like Entangled while you're doing a patrol. Important things to keep in mind is that right now you need reputation, so you want to be farming out the Grim Favors and the Whispers to get rep ASAP rather than doing something like farming the boss over and over. But that brings me to the new Rootholds, which are essentially a new micro dungeon with unbelievable value. Once you're in Torment and doing these, this is going to be a great source for ancestral drops, and seemingly like they're too good right now maybe. To enter these, you're just going to need the sigils, the Whispering Wood sigils. You get these by completing Whispers, and it comes in the cache occasionally, or quite a lot of them for me have come from those silent chests, which is why I keep those keys on me. But you just pop those sigils just like a nightmare dungeon and teleport straight there. And upon entering, you're going to find the rites, rituals, and ceremonies. This is really not that relevant or a problem. Basically, you get to choose positives and negatives, and you're always going to choose minor or major reward improvements. Minor ones do stack up nicely, but it's the major options that you're really looking for, because the drops are absolutely insane if you have those. So, as long as you can handle what it's throwing at you, always take the major reward increase, or maybe many minor ones. But overall, we found that the Rootholds are an incredible source of crafting materials, like way better than last season have we got a resource for this. That's iron chunks, veil crystals, even angel breath and all kinds of herb stuff, gem fragments. Rootholds are absolutely juiced, so you want to clear them aggressively. And as I said, they're going to be an incredible source for ancestrals as well once you're actually clearing Torment. These always have a head-rotten boss at the end though, be aware, so it can also be a great place to potentially roll the dice and maybe find a head to take back. But if you take anything from this video, really value Rootholds, they're kind of insane. Next, let's talk about the power systems. There's the witch powers and then also occult gems once you get into the endgame. Obviously, at the Whispering Tree, we have the new hub and the different types of altars you can interact with, and we slowly progress this list of options. If yours is looking smaller than this, it's because you need to progress the main story and ultimately get more rep. As you can see here, you unlock more witchcraft as you progress through this. And obviously the reputation's also going to lead to the all-important mythic unique crafting resource, the sparks. Either way, you'll find that you have to unlock these initially. Most of them cost 25 rot, and then it's the big unique ones that cost 100. Again, I recommend Dune Orb as your first pickup for the insane flat damage it has. And then we're all kind of aiming for Piranha Nado, which looks really good. If you're looking to upgrade, you can kind of just do it. If you hover over something, you can see the cost of it. So this is 70 and it scales up and up and up, the cost. I would start with things that are going to give you potent improvements with that goal of that second tier. So here we have at rank 5, the Poison Frog will now pull in and taunt enemies, which is a really useful thing. That's the regular powers and how you unlock them though. The fourth one, the Lost or Forgotten powers, you only unlock those by clicking on Forgotten Altars that are found randomly inside of dungeons when you're lucky, so you have to keep an eye out. And to be really specific, we've learned that Forgotten Witchcraft Altars have 1% chance to appear in the dungeon that you're running, assuming you're in Torment and beyond. Torment is when you can actually start finding these Forgotten Witch powers. And on that note as well, Fugitive Heads beyond the story. Those are just the base chances at tier 1 though. It goes up to 5% chance with the Witchcraft Altars and 10% chance for the Fugitive Heads on Torment 4. All you have to do is spot it, click on it, and then it unlocks a lost power at random, or it'll even upgrade a lost power. So finding more Forgotten Altars, even if you've got them unlocked, is an important thing. Especially when you consider the fact that the normal way to upgrade a Forgotten power, it uses Restless Rot, just like normal, but costs way more than normal, so yeah, much more expensive. If you are wondering about occult gems, you're going to need to complete the story, and then you'll be able to go to the occult library and start to engage with the new tab as a secondary power system towards the endgame and torment levels. These provide a passive for all of them that provide armor and element resistances, since you'll be slotting these in instead of skulls or diamonds. Each one of them comes with a unique benefit tied to certain witchcraft powers though, so there's 19 of them to choose, and you run them in combo with whatever setup of powers you actually have. But yeah, a quick overview there of the new seasonal systems and advice around it. I hope that was quick and helpful. And if you guys have got any extra tips you've learned since starting to play, let us know in the comments. But for now then, I've been Hollow, you've been you, thanks for watching.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.